Hello, on your screen is an AurigaMAX launch vehicle, almost fully fueled and ready to launch 4 satellites. On board the rocket, enclosed in the payload fairing right now, are our 4 payloads for today. The primary payload, GPS III Space Vehicle 03, and 3 secondary payloads, SPRITE-SAT 4 for ASA, and 2 MachSat Micros for Mach-X. All payloads will be heading to a 625-kilometer medium Earth orbit today. We will have a complex deployment sequence today, starting with SPRITE-SAT 4 on the top. Once that's a safe distance away, the entire secondary payload structure, the black part, will separate from the GPS spacecraft. Some orientation maneuvers will be performed, and then the first MachSat called A1 will be deployed from the bottom, followed by A2. Finally, the GPS spacecraft will separate from the upper stage. After stage separation, the first stage will flip around for an RTLS landing to be reused in the future. We have a couple more launches planned for this month, both being in support of national security. The next one is Site 37 for the Atlantic Space Systems Force, followed by RNZAF-1 Slick Seeker for the New Zealand Defence Forces. We had planned for Optics 2M2 to follow Mission 35, but due to the nature of the other payloads, they were prioritized. Optics 2M2 will take flight in early November and will see the second attempt at landing a booster on our sea vessel. We are getting closer to launch, and the next major event you'll see is coming up with strong back retraction. The black structure next to the rocket will swing away to prevent damage as the rocket lifts off. That will occur here very shortly.
Strong back retract has started. Vehicles in auto idle. Vehicles in startup.
Auriga has passed max Q, and is approaching main engine cutoff or MECO, stage separation, second engine start 1, stage 1 boost back burn and stage 2 fairing separation. All these events will happen very close together.
Main engine cutoff.
Stage separation confirmed.
Ignition. Stage 1 boost back startup.
After the issue that caused the loss of the booster on Mission 33, we've implemented new engine shielding to all future boosters, to put it through more extreme conditions than a regular RTLS entry. The boost
Fairing separation confirmed.
The boost back burn today will have the booster raise its apogee, resulting in a longer coast phase and a higher velocity entry. If all works out, the booster will have successfully proven out the new shielding and will land at LZ2.
Stage 1 boost back shut down.
The boost back burn has ended and stage 1's apogee is now just under 60 kilometers. The fairing has successfully separated and all payloads are now exposed to space for the first time. Booster has now flipped around in preparation for atmospheric re-entry. Stage 2 is performing nominally, right on target and continuing to the final medium Earth orbit. The next event for Stage 2 will be second engine cutoff 1 or SECO, before it enters a long coast phase up to apogee. SECO will occur before the first stage lands, so once that event is hit the focus will be fully on the booster for us.
SECO.
Good second stage engine shutdown, now entering the coast phase. Stage 1 has just begun the actual descent phase, with re-entry expected very shortly here. The booster flying this mission today is B1008, a brand new stage that is already on the manifest for upcoming launches, with its next flight being scheduled for Mission 39, Arcturus Flight 7. Let's watch here now as she comes back home, beginning with the plasma wall building up around the base of the rocket. You can see the small RCS thrusters firing to keep us on target and in a good orientation. Earlier, just after staging, you saw the boost back burn being performed. That was the first of 3 burns in the recovery phase, the next being the entry burn. The entry burn occurs during, as the name suggests, atmospheric re-entry, and lasts about 10 seconds to take off a good chunk of velocity to stop the stage form being destroyed by the heating, aerodynamic forces, and also to bring the trajectory closer down to the target landing zone.
Stage 1 entry burn startup. Entry burn shutdown.
Entry burn completed successfully. The engines are still looking perfect and we've only got one more burn left, the landing burn. B1008 now entering the final recovery stage. There we go. Our first stage has landed back at landing zone 2, completing its part of the mission today. Due to the long coast phase stage 2 is in, we'll cut the webcast here and a video of the deployment sequence will be uploaded later today just after the orbital circularization burn is completed and deployment occurs. Thank you for joining our mission today, and we'll see you back here next week.